The Z's and the Hanukkah Miracle by Jacqueline, Jules, illustrated by Catherine Janice Kahn. Since the beginning of time, animals have felt sad at summer's end, when night comes earlier and earlier each day. No one was sadder than the Z's, a gigantic yellow bird with huge red wings and a purple feathered forehead, who lived on top of a mountain. When the days were short, the Z's didn't feel sleepy at sunset. Even worse, the Z's couldn't see to make his dinner. He couldn't tell if he was picking up a cucumber or an ear of corn. Yuck, the Z's grumbled. I hate cucumbers. The Z's decided he needed light in the evenings. But where could he get it? I know. The Z's flapped his wings and danced. He loved coming up with good ideas. I'll get some fireflies. The Z's flew to a warm, wet place and chased fireflies with a net. But when he got them back to his nest, they wouldn't glow. What's wrong? Cried the Z's. We don't like being squished together in this net, the fireflies said. Let us out and we'll share our lights. That sounds fair, the Z's said. He opened the net and all the fireflies flew away. Wait, the Z's called. The fireflies were gone. He needed another idea. I know, the Z's said. I'll get some lanternfish. They can't fly away. The next night, he stood in the ocean. The Z's was so huge the water only came up to his knees. As soon as he saw the bright lights of the lanternfish, he scooped them up into a pot. Give me light, the Z's commanded. No, the lanternfish said. We don't like it here. The Z's begged for hours, but the fish refused to share their lights. He needed another idea. The full moon peeked out from under the clouds and then disappeared. That's it. The Z's flapped his wings. I'll catch the moon. He flew up into the sky with a huge piece of rope and tugged and tugged. The Z's was the biggest bird on earth, but he couldn't budge the moon. What am I going to do? The Z's plopped back down in his nest, discouraged. He had done everything he could on his own. It was time to ask God for help. The next day, the Z's flew to Mount Sinai, the special place where he always talked with God. I can't see to eat my dinner, the Z's complained. You're right, God's big voice rumbled through the clouds. The days are short this time of year. Will you fix it? No, said God firmly, but I can make it easier to bear. A bolt of lightning hit the ground. The Z's turned around to see a lamp filled with oil. What's this? The Z's asked. Take it home, God commanded, and see. Every evening, the oil lamp burned brightly. The Z's could see to eat his dinner and fluff up the bed in his nest. He could even read himself a bedtime scroll. Light, light, a flicker, flame, or spark makes my heart happy in the dark. The Z's watched the lovely flame for hours, singing and smiling. But he wasn't the only one. Raccoons, foxes, hedgehogs, rabbits, owls, and other little animals crept closer and closer each night. They needed something to brighten up the long, dark hours too. One night, the Z's saw 50 pairs of eyes enjoying his beautiful lamp. No, the Z's squawked. It's mine, it's mine. The Z's was so upset he couldn't sleep. In the morning, he grabbed his light and took off to find another place to live. He flew over mountains, he flew over trees, he flew over valleys, he flew over seas. In the afternoon, the Z's stopped to rest at a magnificent stone building. Two men were talking outside. The Z's snuck closer to listen. The war is over. The holy temple has been scrubbed from top to bottom. It's time for rededication. Let us light the menorah and celebrate. But Judah, the other man said, we only have enough oil to last one day. How long will it take to make more? Judah asked. 8 whole days. We can't wait, Judah decided. The menorah must be lit now. The other man walked back inside. Judah Maccabee sat down on the stone steps and put his head in his hands. The Z's watched, feeling sad. Did God know about this? The Z's flew off to Mount Sinai, carrying his lamp. Guess what? The Z's poked his purple-feathered head into heaven. There's a man named Judah at your holy temple. He needs oil for the menorah. You don't have to tell me, God answered. I know everything. Are you going to help him? No, said God. You are. Me? The Z's shook his purple-feathered head. Sometimes God was confusing. What can I do? God sighed. It sounded like the wind groaning in a storm. Don't you have any ideas? No, I don't. The Z's hopped up and down. That's why I'm asking. God was silent for a few moments. Have you thought about sharing? Sharing? What can I share? The oil in your lamp, God said quietly. No, the Z's cried. I want my light. It's mine. It's mine. The Z's flew away from Mount Sinai without saying goodbye. He had never disobeyed God before, but God had never asked him to do anything this hard. Mine, the Z's sobbed, mine. The Z's was crying so much he couldn't see in the dark. He was headed straight for the holy temple, about to crash into the ceiling. But just at the last second, the Z's saw the 7-branched menorah shining through the open door. Whoops! He swerved and hit the temple steps instead. The Z's tiptoed up to the front door. He watched the light dancing on the temple walls and ceiling. Pretty, he cooed. Yes, it is, said a small, squeaky voice. The Z's bent his long neck to look down. A family of mice stood at the temple door, enjoying the menorah. Their faces were happy until the light started to sputter and fade. What's happening? The baby mouse cried, frightened. The father mouse shook his head. The menorah is running out of oil. Oh no, the Z's said. He picked up his beautiful lamp and looked at it sadly. Who can help? The baby mouse asked. I can, the Z's said. He tried to walk through the temple door, but he bumped his head. The Z's was too big to fit. We'll take it for you, the mice said. Together, the mouse family dragged the oil lamp up to the menorah. An owl flew in and helped them. Soon the light was burning as brightly as before. The Z's jumped up and down, flapping his wings. It's beautiful, the most beautiful light ever. For 8 nights, the mouse family helped the Z's share his oil with the Maccabees. On the 9th day, Judah rushed up the temple steps with a jar of oil. It's a miracle! The light is still burning! The Z's picked up his lamp and flew back to his nest. All day he moped on his mountaintop. What would he do when it got dark? There was only a little bit of oil left in his lamp. But at sunset, the Z's had a surprise. His lamp was brighter than ever. The Z's could see to make his dinner. He could fluff his bed and read his scrolls. Everything was just as it had been before, except that night when the hedgehog, the fox, the raccoon, and all the little animals tiptoed up to his home. The Z's invited them in. Together, they watched the lovely flame dancing in the darkness. Light, light, a flame or spark makes my heart happy in the dark.